Hello, my name is Leeland Artra, and I'm with the Future Fiction Academy. We normally have a 2K writing challenge, or we're trying to work with large language models to generate the rough draft and help us work through brainstorming ideas and other uses. We teach authors how to work with the large language models to help improve their writing process. Today, instead of actually generating a rough draft for the next chapter of my litRPG series, Seeker, I'm going to instead show you another use of artificial intelligence. I'm going to show you how I'm leveraging the artificial intelligence engine built into the Notion platform to help me coordinate my distribution and publication process for this series. So let's kind of get started here. I have my next chapter written here for my series, which is chapter 18, called Semi-Immortality. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the title, and then I'm going to flip back over here to my Notion project page. This is one of the things that we teach in the Future Fiction Academy. This is a way to generate and keep track of various series and what you're working on. So I'm going to go into my Seeker series. We have a base database that I have modified slightly, and I actually teach a course in the Future Fiction Academy on how to modify this. We have, I think, 5 or 6 courses on using Notion and leveraging the AIs, as well as understanding how the Notion databases work. So this is a Notion database, and what it is for generally is we keep track of our chapters, and each one of these fields that has a little AI on them is actually one that's actually being generated using the built-in artificial intelligence or large language model, a system that Notion has that's improving pretty much daily. Now, I have modified this database, and I have created a whole bunch of different views into my databases. So I have like the details view, which is only showing the fields for me that I need. So I can actually, when I'm working on my book, I can come in here and go, okay, on chapter 16, what happened? What were the plot points? Which characters were involved? What story beats and what settings did I use? And again, you'll note that all of these fields are being generated by AI. So you might ask yourself, well, how are these fields being generated? That's what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to go to my chapters, and I'm going to say, I'm going to add a new chapter. So I'm just going to click the new button, and that opens up this side page here. And these are all the fields. So I'm just going to paste in the chapter title. And now I'm going to come back over here to my word processing system, which is I use Scrivener. And I'm just going to copy all the text out of this chapter. And I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and down here at the very bottom, this is actually the page content for the database. Each database page in Notion is actually like a sub page, and you can have as much details and data. There's the information or the properties that are associated with that page, but it's still a basic Notion page into which you can have just about any content. So I'm going to just paste in my chapter here. And now, if we come up here and look, we'll see that now I have the title, and I have the text for the chapter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and click on these 3 little dots. And I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom so I can get the word count, which is 2,164 words. So I'm going to click on the words field. 2,164. That's pretty much the only manual thing I have to do for actually putting data in. Now I'm going to say that this is from the POV of my main character, and it's also, he's at level 0. So this is a litRPG series. So of course, we're starting at the very beginning. Now, you'll note that it has this release completion field, and it says 0%. It has this little sigma in front of it, and that means that this is a computed field. So this field is being computed off of other data. And I also have a sigma field down here, which is the chapter container. And this is a special field that I actually am having assembled to help me with my prompting the large language model. And I'll show you how that gets filled in. But now let's do the fun part, which is, if you'll note, we have all of these fields or metadata fields, which all have these little AI markers next to them. And so I've written the chapter, I've put the chapter in here. So now let's just say I need an episode hook. So this is an episode hook, which is something that I want to be able to use for my podcast and chapter distributions and maybe social media posts. I'll say, hey, you know what? Chapter 18 just became available on my subscription page on Ream Stories. And then I can have a little chapter hook, which is like what happened in this chapter. So I just click on the update button and it says, okay, discover the secrets of the system and unlock extraordinary powers in chapter 18 of Semi-Immortality. Find out how Aiden navigates the intricacies of his newfound abilities and uncover the truth about his unique and classic stats. Now, what's interesting is if I don't like that, I can just click update again and it will regenerate. And I can sit here and I can click on this as much as I want. And what it's doing is it's actually using the artificial intelligence built into Notion. It's scanning the chapter text, which is in this page, and then it's developing an episode hook. So magic, danger, blah, blah, blah. Discover the secrets of the system and unravel the mysteries of Aiden's newfound powers in the captivating chapter 18. And it says of Semi-Immortality. That's just because it's thinking it's a title. And that's fine. I can actually use this episode hook, and I probably will because I actually like this one. So I'm going to use this episode hook, and I will just edit and put in the name of the book there. So now we come over here to Summary. And in Summary, I just click on Update. And again, this is using a different prompt to the large language model. And it's reading the chapter and giving me a summary update of the chapter and lets me know what's going on. And for the fan poll question, this is a prompt that says, okay, what's your magical creature? I don't like that fan poll. Which character's abilities you find aided the secret skills? Ria's gardening bestial. So this is actually a pretty good fan question. So I'll just leave that one there. And again, so now it's like, okay, well, so what actually happened in this chapter? So I'll just generate that. There we are. And of course, I'm reading these as it's being generated to make sure if it doesn't get it right, I just regenerate it until it actually gets it right. There we are. All right. So the force 9, 8 is like thing. Okay, that's good. Now, which characters are actually involved in this chapter? Here we go. Hannah. Yep, that's right. Bram is not involved in that chapter, so we'll just do that. There we go. Bram is mentioned but not present. Okay, figure that out. There we go. I like that. The characterizations. We're going to do this one. Oh, I don't need that one. Well, actually, that's got his stats. That's actually not a bad idea. I kind of like that. I think I'll leave that there. Settings. Where are we at? There we go. I like that. That's better. Night, atmosphere. Okay, yeah. There we go. So now, if we look at this computed field, you'll see that it says, okay, the synopsis of this chapter, and it's got the summary, and then it's got the characterizations, and it's got the story beats. So now I can actually, if I want to, I can just click on this little copy clip over here, and I can now use this as part of my large language prompts when I'm working with ChatGPT or Claude or something like that. I can just copy this, and you'll note that it's already inside of the little container brackets that we teach people to use at the Future Fiction Academy. And with that, what that does is that basically means that I can just copy this and say story so far, right? And I can do that for as many chapters as I want. Now, then I have all these other things. I have queued to Ream, TT, text to audio, MP3 done, episodes covered, podcast, Patreon, queued to Spotify, queued. So these are all checkboxes. And then there's the tier 2 release, and then there's tier 1 release. Again, this is a series, and so I'm releasing to my tiers early. There's a set schedule. And so for my particular schedule, I have made it so that everything is keyed off of my tier 2. So tier 2 gets it, and then a week later, tier 1 gets it, and then a week later, it goes out as a audio podcast onto Patreon. And then a couple weeks later, I actually release it to Royal Road, which is a free to read site. So I need to track all that, and I need to make sure that I haven't missed anything. So I've created these checklists for me so that I can actually make sure that I'm getting stuff done. But let's just come out here and now let's just look out here. So now you'll see that I have chapter 18, chapter 17, And you'll see that it's still, release completion is still set to 0. Well, that's because I still haven't done anything yet. And what I can do is I have very specific views, and a view is just created by clicking on the little plus sign. That creates kind of like a new tab, but it's actually just a different way to look at that particular database, and you can select which fields are in there. And again, we have somewhere between 5 and 8 specific courses on using Notion and working with Notion databases. So I'm not going to go into all that details right now, but you can come over to the Future Fiction Academy, or when you join it, you get access to all 200 or maybe 250, 300 courses that we have, and you can just, bounce between the courses all you want. It's basically, it's like a golden pass. You come in, you join us. So what I do now is I come over here to my file prep tab. So I have my tabs numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So on my file prep tab, I'll go, okay, well, the very first thing I need to do is queue it up to Ream Stories, which is where I distribute my stuff. And I've already done that. So if you come over to Ream Stories, Seeker, this is my Seeker page. It's going out to this series. And what I do is I've already queued it up to Ream. So I just check that box and there we go. Now that's done. After that, I'd have to create the text to audio, and then I queue it to MP3 and I queue it to Patreon. Well, let's go over here to my release schedules. So I know that Chapter 17 is being released to the Tier 2 people on Ream Stories on August 28th. It's currently July 18th. I'm quite literally a month ahead. So it's one chapter a week. So if I just click over here and I go, okay, August 28th. Wait, so this is August 28th, right? So August 28th. Well, that's the last week. So I actually want to send it out on 1 week later, which would be the 4th of September. And now you'll see, look, I've entered this one field here, and now it's because these other fields are computed based off of this field. I now have, well, this is going to go out on September 4th. Tier 1 is going to get it on September 11th. And if I come slide over here, you'll see that Patreon is going to get it on September 11th, which is the same time as my Tier 1 people. And then Spotify is going to get it on September 18th. Royal Road's going to get it on October 2nd. And so now I have the release scheduling done. Let's just pretend that I have the files done. So now I now have the files finished. So now I'm just going to go to podcast, which is I'm going to put this out onto Spotify. Well, for Spotify, I just need to have these certain fields. I need to have the episode hook. I need to have the engagement poll and the release date. And so then I can go to Spotify, upload the file, get everything taken care of. And when I'm done, I just click the little checkbox. And then then I go over to Patreon. And again, Patreon, again, still episode hook, what date I'm going to do. When I'm finished with Patreon, I click that. And then I have to go put it out and make sure it gets on the Royal Road. And in this way, when I actually come over here and look at my chapters, I can come in here and I can go, well, where am I at? I can go, okay, look at that. So I've actually completely finished processing chapter 9. Chapter 10 is only 50% released. So I still have I still have more work to do. This is how I don't drop the ball. Okay, that's it for actually how I am putting my chapters into a database inside of Notion. And I'm leveraging the Notion AI to help me generate the hook, to generate the fan polls, and also create summaries, character lists, and character descriptions and setting details that I'm using in my chapters, so that then I can go back and reference those again, like on my details prompt. I can actually come back and reference these things when I'm writing. I can go, what did I do on that chapter? Or I can actually search for when, it's like, oh, you know what? That character was there. Which chapter was that in? How many times has that character shown up? These are all questions that I can actually ask. There's little stars down here. So I can actually ask the AI questions. I can say, which chapters does Bram have an active role in, right? Once I actually put these things in, it goes, okay, well, guess what? There you go. And it goes, okay, well, Bram has an active use as in chapter 1, chapter 9, chapter 13. And that is a very powerful way to actually have the ability to go back and look at your actual books the stories that you're actually writing, and be able to reference those while you're creating the next chapter or the next book. That's it for today. I hope you find this very useful, and you can always come over to the Future Fiction Academy. The links to it are in the description below. And we have somewhere around 300 full courses on how to leverage artificial intelligence, Claude, OpenAI, OpenRouter, and a whole bunch of open models in writing fiction, using them to help authors and creatives work more efficiently. So I hope to see you over in the Academy. And I really thank you for watching and appreciate your time. Have a good day. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Click the little thumbs up button. That would all be wonderful. Really appreciate that. So in the meantime, jazz hands and have a good day.